side.
Oh.
Okay, hang tight. They can't hear you. There we go.
All right. So as you can see, the data suggests that we're doing pretty dang good across the board. We decided to hit on three quality standards to improve on, which included active engaged learning, skill building, and continuous quality improvement. And we decided to just go ahead and jump right into it over summer. We kind of like to use summer as our jumping off point to see what sticks, what doesn't, and then move that on forward to the school year. I gotta say, we had an awesome summer. We had 10 weeks, about 400 students, 29 field trips, 14 rotations. Okay, typically we have about 10 to 12 rotations. Each rotation is about 45 minutes long. We obviously kept our favorites: the cooking, right? That's not going anywhere. The electronics, the team building, and the sports. Okay, those are our core groups. But then we started adding in things like reading and writing. This year we picked the book Paddington, and the older kids would be able to read the chapter book to the staff. Our younger kids, staff would read to them, but after each reading assignment, there was a writing assignment that went along with it. So it could be anything from, tell me what you like best about this character. What do you think is going to happen next in the story? What did happen in the story? That's obviously for the older kids. Younger kids would draw out what they thought the character looked like. They could draw out, again, what was going to happen or what they learned about the story. We also had word searches and simple crossword puzzles for them to do. So that we were just constantly keeping their minds engaged, fresh. Then we had fun with numbers. Pretty much exactly what it suggests. We had a board game room where, you know, it's basic board games, but they had to do certain math equations to move on to the next puzzle piece. We also had iPad based games, Osmo and Plugo. The cool thing about this is that you have manipulatives in front of you. The screen tells you what task you need to do, but you actually touch the pieces and make them do what the screen suggests. Kids had a ton of fun with that. It was anything from, again, doing math. You know, little kids could make the letter A out of different puzzle pieces. What else did we have? We had different patterns. Older kids had to put together different patterns by color, by size, by shape. And then by far the biggest hit was our STEM robotic boxes. And we have, each box has 5 different STEM robotic kits in them that kids can either do individually or in a group. And there's about, I'd say, 20 to 30 pieces, wooden pieces that they put together. They hook it up to a motor and they can control the movement. We had dinosaurs, we had off-road cars, we had one that was powered by the wind. So to this day, kids are coming up to me saying, hey, when are the next boxes of robotic kits coming in? A huge, huge success that we're hoping to implement more with the elementary kids as well. Summer definitely would not be a success without the transportation department. A huge shout out to them. The LMS staff for just doing whatever it takes for us to be happy. And then Roseanne Tenton and Ramon Aguirre, 2 people that, you know, were out at the beach with us. They were flying their drones around. They came up to me and said, hey, would you guys like a group photo? So there it is right there. They sent me that picture along with the video saying, hey, this is what we do. And there's going to be a little bit more about them in the next slide. This slide, you know, we're just so happy to be back, right? We're getting out to the community. Last year we did go on a lot of field trips, but it was to the same place every single time because just nothing was open, or we didn't feel comfortable, whatever the reason. This year we're out in the community. They're coming out to us. We're being able to go out to them a little bit more. So we have the law enforcement coming back out. They do the dogs that come out and sniff drugs or weapons. So that's the bottom picture there, where there's actually a man in a big suit with a dog went out and tackled him. We have our local high schools where they can come in and kind of be the big brothers, big sisters to our kids. They do dance programs with them. They do robotics with them. We have some fantastic LUSD parents that come out to us and donate their time. The Children's Initiative, huge benefit to our program. They're going to be doing Smart Exploration, which is a huge art project with our kids at Lemon Crest, the pilot over there. I Love Clean San Diego, constantly doing stuff with us with recycling. We actually have a karate master that comes out and donates his time with our kids to put on lessons. And then again, going back to the drones, we're hoping that we can partner with them to not only teach our kids how to maneuver the drones, but also put together slideshows with their pictures and videos and music and words. So we're really excited where we're going. You know, each year it's a constant battle to try and improve on what we've done. But we've got some fantastic ideas out there, and we're really looking forward to just another great year. Yeah.
Thank you. Is there any questions for Jared?
No, I just want to say thank you for a great program, because having that available for kids before and after school and in the summer really enriches their learning experience, you know.
Yeah, I will say this year, you can really tell that, you know, things are kind of coming full swing now. Our numbers are through the roof at each of our schools. Unfortunately, some of our schools, we do have a wait list just because it's kind of getting harder and harder to find some staff. But we're hoping we can get a few more coming up the ranks here and start getting those families off the wait list and being able to support them all.
I just want to thank you for
Yep.
you've known my kids since they were really little.
Yeah.
So, you
Yeah.
know, we love ESS and so I just really appreciate what you're doing to serve our community.
Yeah, absolutely.
We appreciate your hard work.
Thank you. very
Thank you.
much.
Okay, we will now move to trustee reports. We'll start with Clerk Lachapa. Oh. Nope, thank you for seeing that. One moment. Okay, now we'll move to trustee reports, starting with Clerk Lachapa.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Good evening, everyone. And I just wanted to say welcome back. And I was able to visit 2 campuses the very first day of school. I was able to go to Winter Gardens and Lindo Park. And I also was able to attend the kindergarten orientation at Lindo Park. And Tessa, the principal at Lindo Park, had a breakfast for the teachers. So I was able to be a part of that. And she had some really great team building. She had a scavenger hunts and places to, just so that they could learn. We have a lot of new teachers at Lindo Park. So the old teachers, the older staff and the younger staff that are new to Lindo Park, a scavenger hunt, finding, you know, the library and the district office. And so they had a lot of fun, and I got to be part of that. And the PTSA or the PTA there at Lindo Park made breakfast for all the staff. And then I was able to attend Coffee with the Principal at Lindo Park. Got to meet some really nice parents that are new to Lindo Park. And I just want to say that I have family at LMS. I have family at Winter Gardens, family at Riverview, family at Lindo Park, family at Lakeview, and family at TDS. And I got a lot of good input, only a few little first day, first week glitches of school. And then especially since we're getting, over the COVID thing and trying to get back to what we were doing before pre-pandemic. So I just want to say that's pretty good. I have all that family and I only got, a couple little complaints and everything else was lovely, and everyone's happy to be back and looking forward to a great year and things going back to what I call normal. That's my report. Thank you.
All right, trustee Ferrante.
I want to say welcome back to everyone. I've had the opportunity to visit several campuses, and I want to say a special thanks to Todd and his crew because the schools are looking really good. It's really nice. The field at LMS is the best I've ever seen. I was able to go to LMS for summer exploration. That was a fun event for the kids. And I would love to hear the story about the chair. Which chair are you going to be in for the students? So I was able to go to TDS's back to school night. It was very well attended, and it was really nice to be there. And today, this morning, I was at Riverview for their book vending machine event, and Rhonda got the ribbon, and it's really cool. For those of you who don't know what it is, the PTA has purchased the machine and they put books in it, and students will get a token from their teacher, and they can go pick out a book, and it's their book. They don't have to give it back. They had Mandarin books, Spanish books, English books, and their plan is that every student will get a book this year. So that's it. That's my report.
Well, I too like to welcome everybody back, all the students, all the teachers, all the classified staff that make our schools run and make them great places for kids. I too attended a couple kindergarten orientations at Lakeside Farms and at Lakeview and saw the little excited kindergartners and their parents. So it was great seeing all the little guys and the TKers too, because they had the TK kids also came to both events. And I also attended the book vending, but my heart soared not only for the book machine, but seeing all the Amplify science materials around their auditorium. Being a former science teacher and STEAM principal, I love that the kids are going to have hands-on, minds-on science and get to be doing explorations and robotics and doing some kind of STEAM activities, because we know that that is so important for kids. So I was very happy to see that.
Okay, thank you. Vice President Hofer Moyer.
So it is very nice to be back at school. It definitely has not been without its beginning hiccups, but with grace, we are moving forward, which I think is what the plan is for all of us. I was at the LMS summer explorations. I got to spend a lot of time with the parents and talking with them, giving a couple tours. Been on campus at LMS quite a bit with PTSA. The welcome back day that we held for the staff was just phenomenal. The speaker that you guys brought in was so good, and we received so many compliments on them that it was really good. And then last night I got to take my kids and go visit Lakeview, and they got to stop in and see some of their old teachers. And so that they had a really nice event and a really good turnout as well. So.
Great. So I too really enjoyed the welcome back day. I really loved the speaker, and I loved her emphasis on building relationships with our kids. I think that that's really important as we move forward and we think about how we kind of close gaps that we know are there. And I think relationships matter. And so I'm really excited that that's kind of the vision that our district is taking. And I'm very excited about that. I also was able to attend the back to school night at TDS, and that was quite a bit of fun. I really love hearing the teachers talk about kind of how they're explaining, to the parents like they're their students. It's kind of fun. There was a couple different examples of teachers that I really loved, kind of the ice breakers that they would play right at the beginning with some of the parents and kind of sharing what they talked about that day in class. It had a really good kind of lakeside community feel. So I really enjoyed that. And then I was also able to attend my Kiwanis Club's annual dinner, and our superintendent was awarded with the Educator of the Year award. Quite fun, great evening for celebrating the kids of Lakeside, and no one better to honor than Rhonda Taylor. And then I also too was at Riverview today, this morning, for their book vending machine, and it is quite timely because it is International Literacy Day, I believe, and also aligns with kind of what the state's looking at in the new literacy committees that the superintendent of instruction has brought forward. So I'm excited about it, and I'm glad that every kid is going to have that book and that they're excited about books. I think kids should be excited about books. So anyway, that's my report. Okay. We will now move to members of the public. You have 4 minutes to talk about any item. Lisa, do we have public commenters? Okay. And who is that?
We have one speaker. It's Jennifer Thorpe, and I'll pull her in.
Okay, thank you.
Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
We can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Addressing this board is not done so to make the lives of board members or superintendents any more difficult than they already are. It is with this understanding that what I say are issues that were intentionally kept from parents or brought to our attention from teachers and parents too afraid to say anything. Involving parents in the decision-making process from the beginning would definitely mitigate the issues of having being effective administration and a board. This isn't to tell you how to do your job at all. It's just a suggestion that you should listen to in order to make allies with parents instead of enemies. I'm sure all of you are aware that the social media post was made to involve parents in an already decided policy to give locker room accommodations to transgender youth. A concerned administrator, as well as a parent, called me and said there was a girl changing in the boys' locker room and that students in that room were very uncomfortable. What ensued afterward is not my concern. I took to research and understand that schools are bound by laws and policies that come from the state, and some things are out of your control. However, there are structural and visible changes that California law stipulates that I know are not being complied with, one of which is to change the signage on the door to the locker rooms, which have not been done. I'll email you the entire list. It's well over my 4 minutes of time to read them all. But the most concerning is the adequate staff needed to be in place in order to accommodate these students. It is my understanding that all district schools let go of their locker room attendants. Supervision is key when trying to provide this type of accommodations to individuals, regardless of your personal beliefs about it. And when it comes to making these accommodations, I'm not sure why there wouldn't be an open dialogue with parents about such a controversial topic. I'm not going to read off a bunch of reasons why this should or should not happen. It's the law. But once again, how you implement that law and how you express that law to parents who don't agree and how you react to parents in response to it goes a lot further than you think. I can't hold you accountable for laws you cannot control, but I can hold you accountable for the principle in an email telling a parent if they were uncomfortable with the issue, they could go elsewhere, or not giving parents in your district a heads up that this policy was already discussed and adopted the last special board meeting, August 11th, when I was told it wasn't. And Rhonda, the first time we sat down and spoke, you asked me what you can do to help parents. A discussion of a message board or a notification board was a topic you seem to really like, but as topics get more controversial, that idea seemed to fade away. We come to you after the fact and when it's already happened and we feel slighted. We've asked you over and over to just include the parents of the kids whose lives you're impacting, and you just haven't done it. And when the cat's out of the bag and parents are angry and hurt by their school board, you wonder why your numbers are shrinking in massive amounts. I just think for a second what this meeting would look like if we were on your side, if we agreed that kids come first and that including parents and partnering with them on this life-altering, mind-changing decisions of their kids would be the best option. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you. Sorry, folks, I was temporarily booted. All right. We will now move to Dr. Rhonda Taylor. We'll give a brief update on campus safety.
Hello, everybody. I just wanted to give an update on the safety of our school campuses. We did have a community safety meeting last spring that we invited the community to come. We got some input, so I wanted to update the board on our progressions towards that input and where we're moving forward. Hopefully, my presentation is. I can't progress this. Shouldn't I just be able to push the button? Okay, we're unstuck. Thank you. So I just wanted to remind everybody that we know that the children that we have in our care is the parents' most precious possession. And so when we say that we're doing everything that we can reasonably within our power to keep our students safe, that means a lot to me because I know it means a lot to our parents. So this is how I'm giving an overview of how we're providing this for our parents. So in this presentation, I'll talk about our school environment, and I'll talk about our site safety plans, the comprehensive safety plans that are done annually, our community collaboration that we have going on, and how parents can help us with this program. So our school physical environment is really, we're trying to balance safety with aesthetics, because we don't want our schools to look like prisons, but we want them to be safe for our students. So we're doing a lot of work in this area. I show you the new fencing at Lakeside Farms. We've moved away from that wrought iron look to the chain link fence. This one's black. It's very complementary towards the site. So this fencing goes around the playground, and it's a 6 foot in some areas. All of it on the outside perimeter is 6 feet. These little smaller fences that you see, my little cursor there, the little smaller fences that you see are more of a 4 foot barrier for the kids from traffic and things of that nature. But our outside perimeter fences are at least 6 feet. We talked about a fence at Winter Gardens. And so our maintenance director has worked with this. And so the yellow lines here is where the 6 foot fence will go around Winter Gardens perimeter to, right now there's 4 foot fences there. So we want to increase the height of that fence. So this project is out for bid, and hopefully we'll be getting a bid very, very soon in the next couple of weeks. And we're looking for, let me find my date. We're looking for this to be completed in January, is my understanding. I wish January 9th is our potential completion date. I know that the parents were saying that this fence needed to be in place when school started this year, and we need to have this right away. And I understand that, but when you are working with school property, there's a process that has to be followed. Anything that happens has to go out for bid. You have to collect those bids. It has to be DSA approved. It has to be handicap friendly. There's just so many pieces that have to be in play. So we are very much on this, and looking at January 9th. So excited about that. One thing that we do have on our doors in every classroom is called a lock block. And this is just a little rubber stopper sort of thing that you'll see. It looks like a T. You pull that out and the door can shut. If that T is pushed in, then the door shuts, but the rubber block keeps it from shutting completely. So kids can go out to the restroom and come in without having to worry about that. But if something was on campus and an announcement was made that we need to secure our classrooms, the teacher can just go pull that back and shut the door. The door handle would remain in the locked position at all times, so that that door is already locked. The teacher doesn't have to find the keys to lock the door. You just pull the rubber stopper and the door would shut and lock. and remain in the locked position until you opened it. The funny thing about a lock block is it wasn't designed as a security device. It was designed to keep the door from slamming as people were going in and out. This is something that we have found that works in this capacity. So we do have them on our classroom doors. So our school safety plans, each and every year, the principal has to work with their comprehensive school safety plan, which is a plan for various scenarios that could happen at the school. And so they have to be updated as staff changes, as environment changes, as rooms add on, and all of those things that come into play with the changing of the school year. We have to update our plans and make sure that they are up to code. So these are steps that we have taken to promote safety. We have our annual fit survey of each school site. So a fit survey is, what is the condition of the campus? Is everything working the way it's supposed to work? Things of that nature. We have enhanced gating at the front of the school sites. We are limiting access. And so this is anybody who is on campus must sign in through the front office. They must come through. We need to know who's on campus at all times. They have to sign out when they leave so that if there were to be an event or an emergency on the campus, then we know exactly who's there, where they are, and who we're responsible for looking for. Again, I mentioned the annual update of our school safety plans. We do have active shooter training for staff. I do want to stress, though, that that is not the only training that we undergo as far as a school emergency. You could have something like a chemical event in the air, or something where we would have to put the kids inside and make sure that they were safe. There's a whole lot of different scenarios that could come into a school emergency. But of course, we are doing our active shooter training for our staff. We have the comprehensive planning through environmental design, and that's where we work with our sheriff's department. They come out and they look at our campuses and they look for potential issues. Are these hedges too high? Could somebody hide back there? Is this a hiding spot? Could this be? How can we make sure that our campuses are environmentally safe? We do have regular drills for our student practice. That is a requirement by the state and by Ed Code. So they practice their fire drills, an earthquake drill, a lockdown drill, should there be an event on the school campus, things of that nature. We have a strong relationship with our law enforcement. I just cannot shout out Lieutenant Ray enough. He really reaches out to us. We have a good, strong partnership with he and his team. He's been very involved. And so I really have enjoyed working with them this year. So I feel like we've really connected with our law enforcement this year, last year and this year, more than I've been a part of. So I want to make sure that we continue. The people in our Lakeside substation kind of come and go, they move through. So whoever new would be coming in, I want to make sure that the district is reaching out to them and introducing ourselves and creating a strong relationship with them. We do have a Navigate Prepared app, and that is something that we have where the police department can have access to that application, that it would show pictures of all of our schools and the things that they could see so that they know where everything is located and where everything goes. It's also the program through which we write our school safety plans. So community collaboration. So we've had 2 community meetings with the Lakeside Sheriff's Substation. Say that 3 times fast. That's really I got it. We had one held here at the district office, and then I attended one that was held by the Sheriff's Department at the community center. So I went and represented the school district and spoke about the things that we're doing along those lines. That one was more about how do we prevent students from being harassed at school? So it talks about what do we have in place for bullying and programs along that nature. So we talked a lot about that, which then leads itself into a safety conversation. So I did speak about what we were doing there. So how can parents help? And this is a big one. The input is always important. We have a lot of parents saying, I saw this, and can you we want to address this situation on a campus. So I'm always welcome to those conversations. Again, if you're in the community and you see something unusual, please say something. That did happen last year. We had a unusual suspicious looking person over in the vicinity of one of our schools. Parents were uncomfortable with it. They called the sheriff's department, and the sheriff responded immediately and took care of it. So nothing major happened as a result, but it was just a good example of a community member seeing something and then responding in an appropriate way. And please understand that the measures we are taking are to promote the safety of your children. I know that some people are, I don't want to have to sign in and I want to be able to just walk on campus. Well, we are responsible for those children. And so we have to do what we have to keep them safe. And in order to do that, we need to know who's there, who has access. If we had everything open, then somebody could go in and hide behind a building or something. And yes, you think most people are out, but still, it's too much opportunity. We need to have certain control of who's coming in and who's leaving. If there is, this is one that I learned from the police, from the sheriff's substation in our meetings. If there is an event at your child's school, please stay away, stay off of the roads around the school. If there, that could cause a traffic jam, that could delay the arrival of emergency vehicles or the assistive help that we're asking for. And as you know, it could impede the safety of the safety personnel from reaching to the school site in a timely manner. It's against our nature as parents. If something's happening, we want to be there with our kid. We want to grab our kid as fast as we can. But then again, we also have to understand that our safety personnel needs to respond as quickly as they can and have access. And as school personnel, when it's time to release children, we need to do it in the most humane, not humane, but the organized fashion as possible. And we've had an event where we had to do it across the street, and it was really, really tough because we were trying to calm parents while we checked out kids to make sure the right child went with the right parent. And so these are things that we really have to try to control and make sure that our students are safe. So that was pretty much, it's just a really quick update and a brief overview of what's going on with the safety of our campuses. As things progress, I'll bring back more updates as we get them in. So thank you very much.
I know the week
Any-
before school started, the deputy sheriff checked in because I was at Lindo Park, checked in. And then I know the second day of school, the deputy sheriff came and checked in and talked to the office staff, introduced herself.
Mhm.
And we talked a little bit about some issues behind Lindo Park, but it was just nice that she drove by, came in, introduced herself, just said, I'm here, and made contact with the office staff. And she did that twice while I was there. So I
Mhm.
thought that was nice.
I know that they're really, really trying to increase their presence and their relationships with the schools. And so they are stopping by. And anytime they have a shift change, which they do every so often, the new shift person will go into the school and introduce themselves and say that they are, their person. Any other questions?
Any other questions for Rhonda? I just want to thank the members of the public who attended our community meeting that gave us feedback on what exactly we should consider. And I think that we took a balanced approach to make sure our kids are safe, and we implemented many of those suggestions. So I want to thank the members of the public who came that day and colleagues who were there. I believe Trustee Ferrante was there that day as well. Okay, we will move on to Lisa Davis to give us an update on the unaudited actuals.
I need to share. There we go. Okay. Here. Oops. Okay. Presenting and it'll be the next item for the action item for the board to approve, but I always want to jump up and do a happy dance when we get to this point, because we are closed with our financials for the 21-22 school year. And I just want to give a huge shout out to the whole business office team. Truly is a collaborative effort of each team member being responsible and contributing to the closing of the books. And we start around May, late April, May, with actually closing, and it takes us all summer until now to get everything closed up, wrapped up. And so Samantha Orahood, our director, she does huge heavy lifting on this. Kim Modal, Kathy Nevins, Rachel Camarero, Amy McReynolds, Carrie Witzke, and Lamia Mata. That they're just great team to work with, and really appreciative of them. They did a great job this year. So I'll just briefly go through with our going over where we ended. So our general fund revenues that we received this year totaled $66.5 million is what we ended the year with. You can see by this pie chart how it was broken down. The majority of our funding comes from the LCFF, the local control funding formula, offset with our property taxes. Our property taxes don't quite meet what the state's per pupil funding amount is. So that's what that local control funding formula is. It's the state's aid that backfills that. So our property taxes that we collect are 11.9 million this past year. State aid was 34.6 million. See, that's the lion's share of the funding that we receive. And then we received about $5.5 million in federal funding, 8.5 in state, and then local revenues of 6 million. And that's donations, but it's also, which is really strange, how the state likes to do it. The special education AB 602 dollars actually come in under local, not state. I have no idea, but that's where it lands. So that's why local always looks very large, is because that's the bulk of that is the special education AB 602 funds. And then here's it broken down into what our estimated budget was when we adopted the budget, what we were estimating. Again, these were budgeted items, not our actual expenditures. And then where we actually ended up with, or not expenditures, revenues. Where we actually ended up. So under the federal, you can see that we didn't receive, it looks like we didn't receive 716,000, where the way that the federal, our federal guidelines are monies that we haven't spent yet, but were budgeted within the year. So it's unfunded revenue. We have to account for it within the year, but then when we close, then we have to book it as unfunded. So it was funds that we haven't received yet, but will be receiving in the future. So that's why that shows that way. But overall revenues, we were a little bit up 565,000 from what our budgeted estimates were at budget adoption. So we did really well in that estimation. Our general fund expenditures, we spent $63.9 million this past year. Again, this graph shows, I like to show salaries and benefits. That's the bulk of any school district is your salaries and benefits, and your not just benefits for health benefits, but your statutory fringe benefits, STRS, PERS, workers' comp, all of those things. And then broke it down by certificated, classified, and then with those employee benefits, statutory fringes, and health benefits. So 53.5 million in salaries and benefits, which is almost 84% of the district's expenditure budget. The rest are services and operating expenses, contracts, our utilities. So 7 million there, books and supplies, 2.2 million, and then some capital outlay of 1.1. So that's anything that would have to do with fixing buildings and different expenditures like that came out of the general fund. breaking it down here in the chart, you can see by each one where our estimated budgeted, we're at budget adoption and where we actually ended up with this year. So you can see by each category, except for the benefits, went up a little bit, but from what was budgeted, but everything else we came in under what we were anticipating. So that's really good. Overall, we came in 1.9 million under what those expenditure budgets were at budget adoption. So that's always nice. Showing what our ending fund balance is and our reserves. We started the year in our combined fund of $12.8 million. It's broken down by restricted and unrestricted. Again, showing what the revenues were by each of those categories of restricted and unrestricted, the expenditures, showing what the increase or decrease in revenues were from our beginning fund balance and the receipt of revenues. Our contributions, the majority of that $8 million is our special ed contribution. It's that, and then our routine restricted maintenance account, that's a required 3% of our general fund expenditures has to go towards routine restricted maintenance, which sits in our restricted fund. And so combined fund balance, we ended with $2.6 million that that we didn't spend, but out of our receipts and our expenditures and our beginning fund balance, we ended very well. And I would like to thank everyone for being conservative, and the district's very mindful of their spending, and they don't get too crazy. So we ended with a 24.24% combined fund reserve balance. We do have to show to the state, you have to take all of your expenditures, both combined, unrestricted and restricted. You take all of those and then you get your fund balance, your reserve percentage, but you can only use your unrestricted for state reporting. So that's why I have to show the 18.24%. Other major funds that we have, our child development fund, which that's part of our preschool, but also Jared was just here, the ESF. They did very well this year. You know, part of why we did very well too is both, you know, being conservative in our spending, just watching our dollars, being mindful of that. The other piece is recruitment of staff. We went this whole year without fully being staffed in quite a few departments, just because can't get anybody to come, or if you do, they come for a little bit and leave. So there was a lot of shifting and stuff. So that was, each one of our departments had the same issues as the school district. ESS and preschool had it. The cafeteria child nutrition fund, they ended well. They increased their fund balance at year end. And they did also receive some decent sized grants this year, which they'll be spending this next year on kitchen equipment and stuff like that, that are part of the requirements. So, and then our bond, I wanted to show this. We're getting down to the end of our bond funds. So the ending fund balance was 4.9. And so we're doing very well. We have one last project of the bond, which is the Climate Tech. It's being partially funded for our HVAC savings, but that'll be the balance of this. We'll probably see a little bit of a balance going into next year because it won't be completely complete until 23, 24. So, and then that'll be the end of the bond. Our next steps are right on the heels of our auditors called and asked us if we could move our audit date. And we were agreeable. Staff talked about it, and it will be nice to have it knocked out instead of waiting, but they come in Monday. So, and they were asking for our DAT file for this. We're like, board hasn't even approved it yet. So Friday we'll send it to you, and they'll be in on Monday, and they'll be here all next week. And so that'll be nice to get the audit, you know, out of the way, and we can move and focus on first interim, which will be right around the corner. And so hopefully we do have to have the finalized audit report to the board no later than December 15th. So we may have it a little bit earlier. I don't know. We'll see how soon they get us the draft. And then just coming up for this fiscal year 22-23, our first interim. Again, like I said, it's right around the corner. We finished one and we're right into the next one. So that'll be on the board agenda for no later than December 15th. So it'll be on the board agenda in December. And then our second interim will be on the board agenda in April. We just keep the cycle going. So any questions?
Okay. Thank you for your work on that.
Yeah, thank you. I'll let 'em- What's
Yeah,
that?
enjoy the audit.
Yeah.
Okay, then I will entertain a motion to adopt the unaudited actuals. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So I will need a motion to designate our consent agenda items. Do I have a motion to do that? Anyone? Okay, is there a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Is there anything anyone would like to pull? I'd like to pull 2.2.
4.6.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. So I need a motion to approve the consent agenda items, all but 2.2 and 4.6.
I move to approve all of them. So 2.2 and 4.6.
Excellent. Seconded by Bonnie. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. So 2.2 is a resolution opposing the youth access to marijuana and through storefronts. And so I wanted to put this on the agenda tonight because the County of San Diego is reviewing their policy for cannabis enforcement as a result of, Prop 64. And Supervisor Anderson introduced 16 amendments to the county's enforcement ordinance. And some of those amendments include increasing setbacks from schools to 1,000 feet. So it changes the requirements. It also gives more teeth to code enforcement to come out and enforce illegal pot shops. You'll probably all recall that there was a shameless pot shop next to Riverview with sign spinners. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Kids are walking by that and seeing that, and that's just wrong. So what this resolution does is it says, we support the enhancements for safety for kids, and we transmit that support to the county to make those changes. So that's what the resolution is. So I want to make a motion to adopt that. Okay. Any discussion?
Yeah, I remember teaching the health unit when I taught at CDS, and it's a big part of it.
So it does seem like they've done a good job of keeping those illegal ones down.
Yeah, 'cause there was
So that's-
there
we
was
can
another
keep
one.
that up. Make sure that they're not.
Yep, they have done a great job, and that's because the supervisor was able to bring money to the sheriff's department to enforce illegal cannabis shops. And so what this will help do is encourage the county to continue that funding to local law enforcement and encourage kind of the increase of safety. So I figured it'd be a great opportunity for us to register our support to the county for that. So any other discussion? Okay, I will call the vote. All in favor? Aye. Okay. All right. 4.6, Trustee Ferrante.
We had a lot of donations this month, and it's great to see the support from the community for our schools and for the students. So I just wanted to say thank you to all who donated.
Excellent. Okay. I'll make a motion to approve 4.6. Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. We're on to our informational items this evening. So we'll have our enrollment report.
Your enrollment report that you have, it's the first 5 days of school, and we are actually showing 121 students up from last year, which is good news for us. Just one thing to note is we implemented transitional kindergarten or TK this year. And so last year we had, well, it's not new, but we had transitional kindergarten last year at Eucalyptus Hills. So there was around 90 students last year that were enrolled. Now we've brought that down and it's at each of the elementary school sites. And as of the end of the first week of school, we had 186 TKs enrolled in our school district. So that really helped us from seeing any kind of a dramatic shift with our enrollment between last year and this year. So super appreciative of that, those TKs, and those classes they're full. That's 24 to 1 with a teacher and an aide, and they are full. We actually even added, I think, 3. Initially, we were going to just put 1 at each school site, and we've at 3 of the school sites, we've added another class because of the enrollment that we've gotten. So that's great. Students are coming in earlier and learning, and especially after COVID, I think it's been really important that those students are here in school. That's it.
Thank you. And quarterly investment report.
There you go. The county treasurer pool is very strong, and the interest rates are still what they are, but not gangbusters, but we're lucky that the county treasurer department that we pull our money with is strong and stable, and so our investments are in a good place.
Thank you. Okay, so the board's going to discuss board member representation on district committees. I think this is a holdover from last month, and we need to discuss. Oh, is there last page? Oh, there we go. Cool. Thank you. Okay, so great. So I guess the question is, I thought we could just do this by taking volunteers. So, okay, so Don, what would you like to volunteer for? Or, well,
I have
go-
a quick question
okay.
first.
go ahead.
Before we get to that, I know we have some people that have served before. Do we know
Yes.
who's been serving on what to
Yes.
start with before we start,
Yes.
getting into changing stuff around?
Good question. So I can answer at least one of those questions. Benefits committee is currently trustee Ferrante. Okay. The calendar committee is currently me. And then curriculum and adoption. I don't know if do we have a current curriculum and adoption committee that's active at this moment? No? Okay. So when that comes forward, we'll need to appoint a board member. Okay. A homework committee. Do we have a current homework committee? No? It's going to be new this year. Okay. So we'll need to appoint that. Interview committee. That's kind of been ad hoc. Each of us does something. On the interview. That's fine. I'm good with that. But I do think we should have an ex officio member who does it in case no one else can do it. That's like designated. I do think we should probably do that. And then the wellness committee.
I've been on that.
You've been on that? Okay. So Laura's been on that. I've been on calendar, and Holly's been on benefits. So I'm okay with staying on calendar committee. If you guys, unless any of you want to fight me for it. You want it? Bonnie LaChapa would love it. And I will gladly say, Bonnie, you can go.
Yeah, could I say what I'd like?
Yes, please go ahead, Don. Yes.
I was interested in the curriculum and adoption, even though we don't have it because I've done that before. And homework. Yeah, I
Okay.
think homework is an interesting topic, and we're talking about homework and grades and homework and how much do kids learn by doing homework, and so I would gladly serve on those two committees.
Okay. I would also like to at least go to the curriculum adoption committee meetings when they come up. So I can just pop in, I guess, whenever, but Dawn, you can be our formal appointment. So we can all go to these, but I mean, it's just
Right.
somebody who,
Well,
can't
technically,
go.
we can have 2 on each committee,
okay.
but no more than 2.
Okay, so trustee Wiseman would like to do homework and curriculum. And then interviews, it's all of us, I suppose. Okay, does that work?
Yeah, I'd like to
Any-
stay on wellness.
You want to stay on wellness?
I'd like to stay on wellness, and I'd like to be able to drop in as well on homework, being that
Sure.
I've got kids that it actually affects and I see what's happening on their side. I think it's good to have
Yep.
somebody else on there that sees that too.
Yep, we can have, it's like, all of us have access, so that's, I'm
Mhm.
not worried about that.
Right, it can't
not
be
more
more
than
than 2.
You can, there's a first time for everything. This is the first time. Okay, well then, if you're all, you want to stay on benefits? Okay, you want to stay on benefits? Okay, great. So then, okay, I like it. Is that all good? Okay, so I don't think we need a motion to do anything on this at the moment. We just needed to have it as a discussion. So thank you for humoring me for the first time in 16 years. I do. But I think it's important that we have a structure about our committees. Okay, next, let me go here. Let's see. Okay, we need to schedule a special board meeting for the SPSA presentations for Tuesday, October 25th at 5 p.m. Does that not work for anybody?
I'm out of town. I'm traveling that day with the El Capitan FFA to the National Convention. So I'll be gone that week.
Okay,
I'm out of town also.
uh-oh, so much for that date. Nope. Okay. So I guess what we need to do is we need to, what's some other dates that would work?
I have the week before, or
The week before,
Oh, and I'm gone that week too.
and I have the week after too.
so there's nothing in board policy that says we have to have it at a certain point, right? We just have to have it,
Not for the SPSA.
not for the SPSAs.
In a perfect world, we would do that sooner than later. Part of the holdup, why we're doing it a little bit later than usual, is because the state has not yet released the school level CASP data, and we really wanted those to be in our SPSAs this year because we
Okay.
did it, so we want the data.
Okay.
to be in there.
Yeah, to
So-
set targets, you need to know where your
Yeah.
data is,
Yeah.
your school data is, so.
The other dilemma that we have is we're trying to get Mr. Tupper out to give you a quick presentation on our middle school science adoption
Okay,
pilot.
yep.
And he is teaching classes at San Diego State on Wednesday and Thursday nights. So we were trying to shoot for a special board meeting on not a Wednesday or Thursday so that he could also come and give his presentation.
What about
November 1st.
November 1st? Yeah,
Sounds like, I mean, with all the others, I think everyone's done.
Let me see if there's anything on the calendar.
Looks good.
Is that,
you all good?
is that All Souls Day?
All Souls Day?
I don't,
Yeah, it is.
yeah, it is. Yep,
It might be.
it is.
If it's candle lighting, I can't go.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay, then it will be. So.
sorry
Okay,
about that.
that's okay. This is why we're doing this.
Oh, it's Tuesday.
Yeah, and Monday you guys are probably.
15, so then what about the 15th of November? Is this getting too far?
After the board meeting. Yeah,
Well, that's Tuesday, the 15th.
Oh, it's 2 days.
no, it's.
No,
on-
our normal meeting is on the 10th.
It is, yeah. That's what it
So
is.
do you want to just do it on the 10th? Can we do it on the 10th and just
You
do
can-
it
can
before?
we do it early? Can you do it
Early,
early?
yeah.
Yeah, it'll just be an extra long
I'm
meeting.
out of town. I'm gonna make the board meeting, but I'm in Ucaipa till like 3. So I'm gonna drive there and. be there.
Okay.
Can we get quorums though? I mean, can we get enough people then?
Well, I mean, if everybody else is available,
I mean, could we start at 4? I mean,
Well, doesn't that meeting usually last?
that's a little
We're
while.
trying to have it
Yeah.
not on a Wednesday or
We
Thursday.
have it very succinct.
Well, we could do it.
Then Tupper can't do it.
Yeah, he
It's a
can't do it.
Thursday.
We usually do it not on a Wednesday or Thursday.
So then
Not on a
then
Wednesday or Thursday.
it's looking like the 15th is going to be our next option if we're looking at all this.
Backing up into.
How about October 19th?
We can go,
Oh,
well,
we can't do
they're
it
out of
on a
town.
Wednesday or Thursday. Calm down.
well, they're out of town.
We're out of town
Oh, yeah,
and you're out of town.
they're out of town.
You're out of town.
Oh, they're.
Okay, just checking, just trying.
What about the 11th October? Oh, yeah, you're out of
I'm
town.
out. It's
Oh,
tax-
that's right.
yeah,
Okay.
I can't be gone right before tax season today.
I say the
Okay.
15th.
Of
No,
November.
that's
November.
Oh, November.
I can't go on November. The first one, no, I haven't been, but I can't. go.
Okay.
Mm,
Monday, the 14th.
I can do that.
I'm out.
All right, at this point,
We are. real
we are going, at this point, we will just say if we need to figure out.
To create like a Google form. and
Yeah.
let's-
Yep.
Let me do that
So,
for you.
so here's the deal. Lisa, would you
Yeah.
please circulate a form to us so that we can figure out the times that work best? Okay, thank you for that, Lisa. And thank you for that, colleagues. Okay. All right, we will now move to our labor partner presentations. Do we
I
have,
don't see her. She said she's
Carrie?
gonna be in there. Wait, maybe. You see Carrie? No, I don't see her.
I do not see
No,
Carrie.
she just sent an email.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Okay.
She has a report, so that she. emailed
Should I read it out or should we?
me.
Okay, I'll read it out.
Yeah.
Let me get it. Hold on. That way it's in the record. Where'd it go? Okay. I've got it here. Okay. LTA members are off to a great start this school year. We're busier than ever working with our administrators to get school back up and operating better than ever. We have teams at every school that are mobilizing to ensure we're providing or on our way to providing the student supports we need, like our TOSAs and LLM teachers. We've welcomed over 35 new members so far, which is excellent news. However, it also indicates to us that we lost a good number of teachers over this summer. Yes, a few retired last year, but the majority of those hires are replacing staff who, for a variety of reasons, left our district, and a few are for new positions. I want us to be mindful of this as a district, as we need to look at what is being done internally to make LUSD the place to work. We want to retain our teachers and support them throughout their careers. I believe our new administration has this in mind, and I appreciate their focus on supporting teachers so that we can in turn support our students. While we've had a good start to the year, it hasn't been without its glitches, but I'm confident in our admin's abilities to work through these issues as they've arisen. As usual, I'm always here to chat and problem solve. I look forward to working with you all again this year. Thank you for your time and apologies again for all the tech trouble getting zoomed in. Carrie. Thank you, Carrie. All right. Next is David here? Dave here? No? Okay. Then we'll go to our district superintendent's report. Lisa.
Okay, quickly, you saw Jared, so he gave a great presentation, and I met this morning with all of the managers that I oversee, which is child nutrition, ESS, MOT, and finance and tech. And so our summer program was just great this year, and Jared did a great job with just all the activities and stuff. And just think it's great for all of the students of the district. MOT, Todd, the facilities, maintenance, operations and transportation, they're still down staff at this moment in maintenance and operations. So just he's asking to please be patient with any requests because they're just on very limited staff and trying to hire and dealing with the heat as we all are and stuff, but we're in school and dealing with those issues along with regular things during the day that's been happening. So his team's extremely busy. CNS is just going gangbusters with breakfast and lunch. Christy's asked to hire a couple more 1-hour positions for in the morning because they just don't have the staff to hire as many breakfasts as are being served out, the volume of students. So I think this breakfast program is great because that's the time when kids probably aren't eating breakfast at home and they need that to fuel themselves for their instructional day, and we're feeding them. So that's great. Technology, Brian, the technology director, would like to thank his tech crew and for giving it all every day towards helping teachers, students, and the parents that call in to address any concerns that have arisen. Technology would also like to thank maintenance for supporting their department over this last year. So I know tech's been extremely busy too, getting started with school. Yeah. So just thank you to all of the classified business managers. Just a great team. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Natalie Winspear for an Ed Services update.
Okay, I feel like there's so much to say, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet. First, I want to just publicly welcome our new coordinator of Ed Services, Michelle Perkins, who you all met earlier this evening. She comes to us with a lot of experience creating systems designed to transform teaching and learning, and a lot of expertise in working with English learners. So those are two areas that we are just super excited to gain her expertise and knowledge to help our team. The first 2 weeks of 3 weeks now of school have been very positive. Our teachers, our principals, all of our site staff have been welcoming kids on campus. There's just, I think a lot of people have mentioned it, but there's just a lot of really positive energy out there this year. In being in classrooms and seeing kids engaged in the instruction, teachers planning instruction that is really engaging for our students. And so it's just nice to be out there to see the kids and the teachers doing their thing. Our Amplified Science curriculum was delayed, but it has arrived as promised. Sadly, we were hoping it was going to arrive in August and we were going to have lots of time to unpack boxes and inventory and put kits in teachers' classrooms. Well, that didn't happen the way we wanted it to happen, but that's okay. We are in the process now of unpacking those boxes, making sure that teachers have the curriculum in their classrooms as soon as possible. Our first district-wide PLC day coming up in October will be dedicated time for our K-5 teachers to collaborate around the new science curriculum. And then also during PD day, they did receive professional development from the publisher on the curriculum, and we will bring them back in January for more professional development. So it's PD, collaboration, more PD, more collaboration, just to make sure that our teachers are comfortable and have an opportunity to work together, talk to each other, learn from each other when it comes to using that new curriculum. A lot of our sites are in the process of creating what I would call innovative master schedules. So I think many of you visited Summer Academy, and one of the pieces that made Summer Academy so powerful was the way that the master schedule was created to allow for students to get more intervention in the school day and also to provide time for our teachers to have more collaboration time. So we have a few sites that are trying to emulate in an organic way that works for their school. So it's not exactly the same, but doing that same master schedule overhaul to also provide more intervention time, more PLC time. And then tomorrow we will have our first Williams visit at TDS. We haven't had one of those. I don't know when it's been a long time that we've had a Williams visit. So we are going to learn side by side with the principal and the coordinators and the folks from the county who are coming out. Leslie Hardiman, her teachers, and Beverly have worked really, really hard to get everything ready for tomorrow. It's like planning a party, but not a fun one, which is kind of a bummer. And also our maintenance and operation, because this is not just about materials sufficiency, it's also about our facilities. So they come out and they look at both things. So maintenance and operation has been out at TDS doing a lot of different things to get ready for tomorrow. So our hope is that everything goes very smoothly tomorrow and that we pass our Williams visit with flying stars.
Thank you. Dr. Rhonda Taylor.
Well, I am just super excited because we're always talking about how to promote our wonderful school system. And so,
You need to.
oh gosh, me in the mute. I am super excited because we're always talking about how to promote our wonderful school system. And so this year we're trying something we have never tried before. We have billboards, and the first one was installed on Tuesday, and it is on Highway 67 as you're going towards San Diego, towards the 8. So you're seeing it as you're leaving Lakeside, but it was installed on Tuesday. We have another one that we'll be putting on Highway 8 and sort of our Harbison Canyon area coming into our area. And so I really liked working with this company, and they came up with, I sent them the information and they came up with a really nice mock-up of it. And, you know, I wanted to include all the wonderful things that we do here in Lakeside, as well as we're hiring. We need, you know, we are trying to attract employees too. So we kind of did an all-in-one. And so this is what it looks like from the road. It's a little hard to see, but you're driving quickly. So it's kind of like, you know, let me drive. And yeah, so it's up there. It looks great. And so I'm just excited to see if we get, you know, some feedback and some calls on this. So I figured we'll run this we have it for 3 months, and then we'll stop. And then in the spring, I want to run it again for 3 more months. And so they keep our art designs and our vinyl and all of that. And so they'll put it right. We'll put it up. It'll be a little less expensive because we already have everything ready. So real excited about it. I haven't seen them personally myself. So tomorrow when I have a free moment, I might just drive down the road and see what it looks like.
Excellent. Okay. Any good of the order announcements? Okay, then I will adjourn the meeting at 7:14.